If you're over 70 and still maintaining these 6 habits, you're on the right path to a long and healthy life. Growing older is not the end of a meaningful life. On the contrary, it is a beautiful phase where one can slow down, reflect on deeper values, and truly enjoy the rewards of a life well lived. If you've passed the age of 70 and continue to uphold healthy habits, keep your spirit calm, and let your heart remain inspired, you are already on the right path to living longer and healthier than ever before. In this article, we not only share essential advice to help seniors maintain their physical and mental well-being, but we also bring you closer to real-life stories of inspiring individuals. People like Sarah Thompson, a 75-year-old woman who still practices yoga every morning, or Michael Carter, an 82-year-old man who chose to live in nature and writes in his journal daily to nourish his soul. We also include profound quotes from renowned authors, philosophers, and experienced public figures, words that awaken your inner motivation and encouragement. These reflections are not just empty words, but wisdom distilled from life experiences, something only time and living fully can offer. Each part of this article delves into a different aspect of senior living. From health and mental well-being to relationships, the meaning of slow living, and the power of gratitude. Real stories, timeless emotions, and deeply human perspectives will offer you the inspiration to find new joy in your everyday life. Health, the foundation for everything good. After the age of 70, many people believe that health is something beyond their control, that aging is inevitable and that they must accept living with back pain, high blood pressure, or restless sleep. But the truth is, with a few wise choices and steadfast commitment, you can maintain a remarkably healthy body. Emma Wilson, 74, lives in Oregon, USA, and was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at the age of 68. She refused to accept a future dependent on medication for the rest of her life. Instead, she began a disciplined journey, changing her diet, walking 5 kilometers daily, and practicing 15 minutes of morning meditation. After 2 years, her blood sugar levels stabilized, and now, at 74, she still gardens on her own, drives on road trips with friends, and inspires other seniors in her community. Emma shares, "Health is a gift I've learned to cherish every day. When you take care of it actively, you receive more than just physical strength, you gain emotional vitality too." One quote by Jim Rohn that Emma deeply resonates with is, "Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live." Spirit, the flame that keeps the heart burning. Nothing deteriorates health faster than a negative mindset. After the age of 70, when children are grown and loved ones slowly become fewer, many people fall into a sense of emptiness and loss of direction. Yet, it is often in these very moments that the resilient find a renewed reason to live, no matter how small. Robert Langston, 79, was once a literature teacher. After retiring and losing his wife to cancer, he lived alone in a small house on the outskirts of New York. There was a time when he thought his life had come to an end. But one day, while organizing old books, he stumbled upon the unfinished manuscript of a novel he had started in his youth. From that moment he dedicated 2 hours every day to writing. 3 years later, the novel was published and hailed as one of the most touching literary works of the year. Robert shared, "I don't write to be famous. I write to feel alive again, to know that I still exist in the most meaningful way." He often quotes Viktor Frankl, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Connection, the thread that heals and holds us together. Old age does not mean loneliness. Only when we let go of connection does the world become cold. Many studies show that seniors with positive social networks live longer, have lower rates of heart disease, and are less likely to suffer from depression than those who live in isolation. Linda Matthews, 72, is a perfect example. After retiring, instead of withdrawing, she joined a cooking group for older adults in her local community. She also founded a weekly book club where people could share not only their love of literature but also the joys and sorrows of life. Linda recalled, "Once, I broke my leg and had to be hospitalized. During those 2 weeks, my book club friends came to visit me every single day. I had never felt so loved." She often emphasizes a quote by Helen Keller, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Wisdom. The fountain of mental clarity. There are no limits to learning, not even after 70. Today, thousands of seniors around the world continue learning languages, playing musical instruments, or experimenting with modern technology. Keeping the mind active is one of the key secrets to preventing cognitive decline. James Douglas, 81, began learning programming at the age of 78. I was always curious about how apps worked, and instead of watching TV all day, I decided to try writing a simple program, he laughed. After 2 years, James developed a small app to help his grandchildren record family recipes. James said, "I feel mentally sharper than ever. Every time I learn something new, I feel young again." He loves quoting Albert Einstein. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. Inspiration. The light that guides each day. Many believe that inspiration is something only the young possess. In reality, a sense of inspiration is something the elderly need most. It's what gives them the drive to wake up each morning with joy and hope. Margaret Hill, 76, wakes up every morning at 5:30 to watch the sunrise and write a reflection in her journal. She believes that even on ordinary days, there is always something to be thankful for and cherish. When you start the day with gratitude, it's impossible not to smile, she says. Margaret often quotes Maya Angelou. "This is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before." Gratitude. The strongest medicine for the soul. After going through hardships, loss, and life's ups and downs, seniors understand the value of gratitude more than anyone. It's not just a spiritual act. It's also a powerful psychological therapy that helps people live with peace and lightness. William Anderson, 85, is a former veteran. His life was long overshadowed by PTSD. But through the simple act of writing down things he was grateful for each night, he gradually found peace again. Today, he inspires others at veteran workshops, sharing the healing power of gratitude. He says, "I used to carry so much anger and pain inside me. But when I learned to be grateful, even for something as small as a warm cup of coffee, I realized I was still alive. And as long as I'm alive, there's still a chance to change." Faith. A place of inner peace that cannot be missing. In the twilight years, faith is not just a religious or spiritual concept. It is an inner source of strength that helps older adults move through gloomy days with resilience and hope. It can be faith in oneself, in life, or in something higher and more sacred. Anna Robinson, 77, lives in the English countryside. She lost her husband at the age of 65 after 42 years of marriage, a period that plunged her into deep sorrow. But by maintaining the habit of morning prayer, nightly meditation, and regular Bible reading, Anna gradually regained her balance. She shared, "I don't pray for miracles, but I believe in healing. Faith allows me to accept reality without judgment, and because of that, I live more lightly." Anna often quotes Mahatma Gandhi, "Faith is not something to grasp, it is a state to grow into." Love, a timeless miracle. Many believe that romantic love ends with old age. But in truth, love, at any age, can still blossom, heal, and make hearts flutter as it did in youth. After 70, love may not be as fiery as in one's 20s, but it becomes deeper, more sincere, and steadier than ever. Edward Harris and Diana Cole, both 73, met in a painting class for seniors. Each had gone through a long marriage and lost their spouse in the same year. Initially, they were just classmates, quietly sketching still lives and landscapes. But gradually, the long conversations after class and the peaceful moments spent watching sunsets together brought them closer. Edward said, "We don't need to say, 'I love you' every day. We just need to be there for each other, and that's enough." Diana softly added, "Loving at this age is like sipping an old glass of wine, not impulsive but rich and warm." They often refer to a quote by Audrey Hepburn, "The best thing to hold on to in life is each other." Creativity. Path that opens the soul. No one is ever too old to create. When you paint, write, sing, sew, or tend a garden, you're giving your mind space to breathe, to break free from old patterns, and to live fully in the present moment. Thomas Grant, 80, was a serious, disciplined civil engineer for 40 years. After retiring, he felt an emptiness inside. One day, he picked up a paintbrush, something he once loved as a teenager but had long forgotten due to life's demands. From the first scribbles, he slowly began to recover his zest for life. Today, Thomas's works are displayed in small galleries for seniors across California. He said, "Painting allows me to see life again, with color, with light, and even with shadows. But this time, I'm no longer afraid of the dark." Thomas loves quoting Pablo Picasso. "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up." Freedom. A simple yet priceless happiness. Freedom isn't always something grand. Sometimes it's simply being able to make your own cup of tea, choose your own bedtime, or go for a walk without reporting to anyone. For the elderly, especially after 70, freedom is the highest expression of independence and dignity. Grace Miller, 86, lives alone in a small house near a lake in Vermont. She doesn't live in a nursing home, doesn't have a full-time caretaker, but manages her daily life in her own tidy way. She said, "I don't want anyone deciding for me what to wear, what to eat, or when I should sleep. Freedom gives me the feeling that I'm still living, not just existing." Grace often quotes Henry David Thoreau. "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately." Time. The companion we cannot avoid. Time is something no one can stop, but we can learn to walk with it in gratitude. Many people over 70 fear the passage of time, fear aging, fear separation. But if you change your perspective, time will no longer be an enemy, but a teacher. Henry Scott, 90, was once a surgeon. Now he lives peacefully, gardening, listening to classical music, and spending his afternoons writing letters to his grandchildren. He doesn't use a smartphone or social media, but he says, "I have time, and I use it to listen, to understand, and to forgive myself and all that has passed." He treasures this quote by Khalil Gibran. "You may forget with whom you laughed, but you will never forget with whom you wept." Sleep, a quiet but essential gift. After 70, sleep no longer comes as easily as it did in youth. Many seniors wake in the middle of the night, struggle to fall back asleep, or wake up far too early. But the truth is, quality sleep is still within reach, if you understand and listen to your body. Eleanor Brooks, 75, had relied on sleeping pills for 3 years after retiring. She said, "It felt like every night was a battle." After attending a seminar on natural sleep, Eleanor decided to make a change. She turned off all electronic devices after 8 p.m., listened to calming meditation music, drank chamomile tea, and maintained a slow, steady daily rhythm. 6 months later, she was sleeping well, without medication. Eleanor shared, "Sleep doesn't come when you force it. It comes when you create a quiet and gentle environment." She resonates deeply with this quote by the Dalai Lama. Sleep is the best meditation. Do you have a small bedtime ritual that helps you fall asleep each night? Share it with yourself or write it down to turn it into a soul-nourishing habit. Nutrition. Feeding your body is also loving yourself. Nutrition in old age doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need strict diets or expensive meals. What you need is balance, freshness, and the ability to listen to your body. Richard Evans, 78, was once a professional chef. After retirement, he began teaching a class called Cooking for 70 Plus at a community center in Seattle. Richard teaches how to make nutritious soups, simple stews rich in fiber, and fresh smoothies from fruits and vegetables. But what makes his class special is how he begins every session with the same question. Are you eating to live, or living to savor each bite? Richard believes eating is a ritual. If you eat with gratitude, each bite will heal not just your stomach, but your soul. He often quotes Michael Pollan, "Eat food, not too much, mostly plants." Forgiveness, a remedy for invisible wounds. Old age is a time to reflect on life, and with that reflection may come scars, sorrow, or regrets. But there is something miraculous. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not forgetting, It is releasing yourself from the burden of anger and pain. Carolyn Reed, 80, lived in tension for many years due to conflict with her son. But during a group therapy session, she was asked, "Do you choose to be right or choose peace?" That question lingered in her mind for weeks. Eventually, she wrote her son a letter, not to blame but simply to say, "I love you and I miss you." Carolyn recalled, "The moment I sent the letter, I felt 10 years lighter. I don't know if my son forgave me, but I forgave myself." She often repeats this quote. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Nature, the deepest and freest healer. There's no place that brings peace quite like nature. A canopy of trees, the sound of a babbling stream, or simply the scent of earth after rain, all can soothe an anxious heart. After 70, nature isn't just a place to walk. It becomes a place to reconnect with yourself. George Milton, 74, lives in the Colorado mountains. Every morning, he spends 30 minutes walking through a pine forest near his home. No headphones, no phone, just him and nature. He says, "I listen to the leaves falling and feel the worries in my heart falling away too." His favorite quote is, "Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better." Albert Einstein. When was the last time you truly felt the scent of flowers, the sunlight on your face, or the cool breeze? Take time today to step into nature, and simply be present. Slow living, not doing less but living more deeply. Slow living doesn't mean doing less. It means living with more awareness. When you sip a cup of tea, you know you're drinking tea. When you talk, you listen with your whole heart. Slow living is the art of those who understand. Everything passes, only the present is eternal. Susan Bell, 82, founded the Slow Living for Elders group in Boston. Every week, her group gathers under a shady tree to share a memorable moment from their week. It could be a morning watching birds, a moment seeing a grandchild smile, or a quiet afternoon sewing. Susan said, "I used to live fast and miss too many things. Now I live slowly, and find every minute to be a miracle." Her favorite quote is from Lao Tzu. "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." If you're over 70 and still maintaining any of these practices, even just a few, you're on the right path. A path not just toward a longer life, but one that is deeper, more fulfilling, and truly inspiring. Old age is not a period. It's a comma, opening the door to a new chapter of life. One lived through experience, guided by wisdom, filled with peace, and embraced with love.